coach, consultant, and trainer based out of Luxembourg. And you shared a little while ago that it was raining today. And that's just what it is. Like in our life, we need a little bit of rain to sprinkle some, looking at it in a resilient and reframing it that's going to make everything green right now. Originally born from France, is French, but lived as an expatriate for more than 25 years. Speaks 5 languages, French, English, German, Dutch, and Italian. And not only that, she's salsa dances. So yesterday, she was cooking some Mexican food when we had a chat, and I asked her to please put on some salsa music, and there she did. So it's just showing that it's all about the fusion. Whatever we got, we work with it, and that's how we can have fun into our lives. You have 20 years experience leading international virtual teams, working in senior leadership roles in big international organizations. You're also a senior quality manager for customer service in Europe. And then you became a senior learning and development manager, also in customer service, in the same, different regions there. You combine your 2 passions, which is helping people to succeed in adventures of leadership and self-assurance. So the acronym for that, Succeed S, Adventures A, Leadership L, Self S, Assurance A, spell out salsa. And she is the queen at salsa dancing. And she talks about how much fun she has when she is, dancing as well. So we also have Anton has joined us. Yes, she's amazing. Yeah, thank you. Virginie, I can't hear you. I'm having some technical difficulties right now. Can you say something? Hello?
Is that you're asking me? Is that me? I don't know.
Sorry.
Technical issue there.
There we go. I think we're good now.
Can you hear me?
Bad. Yes, I can. Marvelous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. No,
yeah.
Thank you for having me, Eleanor. I'm really excited to be here with you. So thank you so much. And
it is such a pleasure.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to share is that the reason we first connected on LinkedIn, and it was amazing that, that is what this is. Just this morning, I had the Facebook reminders and all of those things that come up. And he talked about how we need that connection on social media more so than ever. And this was of a few years back. And now I'm connected with people from all over the world. And that is the beauty of this, is that even though we are socially isolated, we are physically isolated. That everybody was talking about the social isolation. But what is important is not to be socially isolated and to be connected. And so for that, this has brought such a beautiful diversity in the fabric of conversations that we're having. And as Anton said just a few moments ago, you are amazing, and yes, you are. We got to learn from you a lot. And the other thing I wanted to share is that talking about we get to learn. Now, we've talked about the professional piece, but what you had shared a few months ago, we were talking about diversity and all of that, and he said, "Oh, no, I've watched 3 Idiots," and I was like, "What?" So how did that come about? And please do tell us about, your love for Indian movie and, diversity and fusion and music and all of those lovely things.
Oh my God, I don't know if we're going to have enough time, so I'm going to do the short version, Eleanor. So as you said, I've always worked in big international companies, managing international teams, whether they were on-site or virtual. And in 2008, I got the opportunity to work for a big bank in the Netherlands, and I was hired to go and set up a team in India. So I went there a few times. And the second time I went there, no, before I went there, the second time, I had some Indian colleagues with me in the Netherlands. And one of my colleagues told me, there is a film you need to watch, an Indian film. It's called Three Idiots. And the title, Three Idiots. And I told him, you sure? And he said, yes, yes, yes. So, okay, I'm going to trust you. So they were playing the movie in the Netherlands. So we went there with my husband. And I came out of that movie completely blown away. I was like, oh my God, this movie is everything. It's about life. You laugh, you cry. Even my husband, who doesn't cry easily in movies, he did cry. And I was like, I love this movie. So a few weeks or months after, I was going to India, and I told my colleagues, I need to have the DVD. I want to make sure I always have this film with me, because it really touched me. And my poor colleagues in India, they went everywhere to find that DVD, and they finally managed to get it. So I think I've watched now the movie Three Idiots, I don't know, 10 times maybe, because when I am down, it doesn't often happen, but when it does, that movie always cheers me up. As I say, it's a beautiful movie. There is no shooting, no murder, nothing.
Yes.
But no murders, but it's, as I say, it's about life. It's about pursuing your passion, but it is so well done. It's so inspiring. And I've got to learn a bit more about Bollywood and Indian movies. And this one, yes, of course, it will have a bit of music and a bit of dance, but just enough. It's a beautiful movie, and I can only advise people, if you get the chance, please go and watch it. It's in Hindi, but there will be English subtitles. And as I say, every time I watch it, it's a pleasure, and I'm comforted afterwards. So I've watched many more films, and I have also a lot of favorites, but this one is still my number one ever. Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, it's Amir Khan in this. And now Amir Khan looks so different from when I used to watch him a long time ago. So one of the questions that I have is that, as I shared, that we are in these unprecedented times, right? There is so much that's going on in the world. And we think you all know, yes, life is a dance. And we have all of these things that are going on in our lives right now. As I mentioned, it was your Facebook video, and it's about Shinrin Yuku, which is a Japanese phrase. And you were in the forest, which is near your house. And the thing is that, how do you know? Because it was this past Tuesday, I had just finished moderating the National Cognitive Behavior Therapy Program. I've been working so hard at creating the slide decks and, working together with individuals that have not worked and, trying to share what the vision is, but sometimes it doesn't happen and I have to go with the flow. Namaste, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us. And so after that evening, I crashed and it was burnout. So how do we know that we're heading towards burnout?
So a great question, and also to those of you who are watching now, I did have a burnout as well many years ago. And of course, when you get it, you don't realize, but it's only when people are telling you, you should have watched this or you should watch that. So that's why I want to share. So basically, the first thing is that if you start having signs in your body, like you have often headaches or backaches or stomach aches, something, your body is telling you that you're reaching your limits. So that you have really to pay attention to your body and listen to it. So that's the number one. And the second thing is that in my case, I was stressed at work, was bringing the stress at home. Because I was stressed, I was not able to sleep. And because I was not sleeping properly, I was waking up tired, and therefore I was stressed. And so I went into a spiral, let's say. And that was the second thing where I was like, okay, there is something wrong there. I do not manage to relax. I do not manage to get some sleep to recharge my batteries. And I went to see a doctor, and he told me actually after, he said, are you still going to dance? Because I had told him, he had asked me if I had hobbies. And I said, yes, dancing. And he said, are you still going to dance? And I said, no. And he said, why not? And I said, well, because I'm tired, so I'm not going to. And he said, well, that is the first sign you should pay attention to. As soon as you start or you stop doing what you love and you don't feel like doing it, this is the first time where you think, okay, I need to pay attention. And so that is how I learned that I really had a burnout. Again, not able to concentrate. You're watching a movie and still you cannot stand still in your chair. You have to get up every 5 minutes, or you're looking at your phone or whatever. So it's all these little signs that tell you, pay attention, you are on your way to a burnout, and you need to take some steps to stop it before it goes too far. So that was my experience. To me, I was starting, as I said, having headaches, not being able to sleep, not going to dance anymore, being very restless. And so that's why I want to share these signs, because I think they are easy to recognize once you are aware of them. Now that I've explained it, I guess maybe some of you who are watching and think, oh yes, maybe lately indeed I've had more headaches than I used to have, or yes, I've not been able to sleep properly. So that's the sign, the little signs when you need to say, okay, I need to slow down, my body is telling me something.
That's brilliant. I'll explain to you that I've been having lots of pain. It started last year, and it was shoulder pain. Now, 2.5 years ago, I had a cortisone shot on my right shoulder. It's the mirror image on here. And so it didn't really help, but now the left shoulder was going even bad. The report, like my sleep was disrupted. And I, again, just pushed it aside. I was not paying attention to what the body was telling me. I finally got a ultrasound done on January 17th, and it shows that I have a mass abnormality on my left shoulder. My right shoulder has that. My heels are like, I have heel spurs. My knees are also, and the sciatica, all of those things, right? Now, the thing is that you're saying all of those, and you know, it's all of the, we know the signs, but we're come into all of these things together. So many people are laid off. They are juggling the kids and all of that. I have little kids, and now there's homework and all of those. How can we juggle all of these and prevent burnout, please?
Yeah, so that's also another great question, I know, and I know it's very challenging for some people out there. As you say, they have to juggle between their work, their children, and then the home, taking care of the home, doing the cooking and the washing, etc., etc. So my biggest advice, I would say, and again, I know it's not always easy, but try to find some time for yourself. And how do you do that? Well, either maybe try to get up 15 minutes earlier if you cannot get up an hour earlier, but try to use just 15 minutes and really focus on having time for yourself. And what does that mean is maybe for you to just sit and relax and drink your coffee, or maybe just to meditate, or to read a book, or just to go for a walk. And I know with the lockdown, some of us are not so free to go out, but maybe go outside your block. Or if you're like me and you live in the countryside, maybe just go outside for a walk in the forest just a little bit. But really, really try to find that few minutes of the time for you. So for people who used to go to work before, who were in traffic, then you could use this time that you're not using in your car in public transport to keep that for yourself. However, I realize that if you have children, it's not easy because you need to take care of them. But maybe if you cannot do that in the morning, maybe you can do that in the evening when you put them to bed, or maybe if it's in between, if you give them the opportunity to watch a movie, etc. But really be conscious and really try to take some time for yourself. And before people say, yeah, but if I take some time for myself, I'm not taking care of my kids or my husband or wife or partner or whatever. But it is not selfish. On the opposite, you should be your number one priority, because it's only when you are going to be healthy and you're going to feel well that you're going to be able to support your family. So that's why I say this little time, just as I say, 15 minutes, doesn't have to be every day, doesn't have to be, as I say, every morning, every evening. Just see how it goes. Maybe one day you'll be able to do that in the morning, and maybe the next day it will be only in the evening. It doesn't matter, but really, really try to find this little piece of time for yourself to relax. In a normal situation, I would say try to go take some time to go for a walk, to go to the swimming pool, or to read a book for an hour or so. As I say, I know that we are in a challenging situation at the moment, so try to grab here bits and pieces of time for yourself and do whatever you like, even, as I say, if it's just to sit in a chair and do nothing, just to breathe and enjoy the present moment. But just these few minutes will help you recharge your battery, relax, and give some rest to your body, so that then after you can move further again.
I love that. So I did that last night. It was, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go out. The sun had finally come out. And I talked about this a few weeks ago with another person, my co-host. The thing about this is that there is times when you just can't get out. And when I finally was able to get out, my kids are sleeping later and later, because, it is just what it is. There's so many things you could have in your control, and there are so many things that are not in your control. I'm letting go what is not in my control, because that is part of that mental health and stress. And when I went out, I just charged my phone enough, because what happens is when I put on music, and music does uplift me. Now, other thing I've not mentioned on the things that were happening to me is that 3 years ago, after I'd come back from a hike, I was climbing the stairs, and I had damaged my MCL by falling down the stairs.
Oh.
A week ago, that started to flare up all of a sudden again. And I was doing Zumba at home. And the thing is that, wow, this is just crazy that a lot of inflammation is happening. And that's all of the stress that is building up in the body. And so when I went out last night, there was the feelings of guilt, because my son came out and pulled me, and he's like, where are you going? And he was like, but I was like, okay, I am a dad here. I need there to be for you. However, when you go on a flight, the FAA say, put on your mask. And here, not only we're talking about putting on our masks, but the important thing over here is to say, take off your mask and show that you're, vulnerable. You are suffering. Burnout is real. That's what John Gora, my Dugu, Asante Sana. Thanks so much for joining. John's originally from Kenya. That's what I found out, and we speak Swahili. So that it's so true that we feel these guilts. Now we know the physical symptoms that are happening over here. Now, as a leader, what have you told? What is the ROI for managers, leaders to really consider, not only for themselves but for their employees? Is that when they face burnout, when you have burnout, and how do they overcome these?
Mm-hmm. You're bringing excellent points, Anna. To me, and because I also teach and train in leadership, to me, being a leader, that means first being a leader of yourself, and it starts with self-care. And that's what I said. We should be our number one priority. And yes, it's definitely not easy when you yourself have a burnout, or you feel like you're going towards one, when you have some team members as well. The first thing is, I would say, everybody's different, so everybody's reacting differently. We all have different symptoms, etc. but it's really to show empathy and show understanding and not being too hard on yourself. You mentioned early on that you felt guilt. And as parents, especially, and especially nowadays, people want to do everything perfectly. They want to be a good dad or a good mom and a good employee and a good manager, and maybe also keep the house in order and very clean, and have enough food at home, etc. It is okay to not be perfect everywhere. We are all humans. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. And that's back to what I said earlier. And we need to take time for ourselves. Maybe these times as well with people and I'm going back to what I said before, taking some time for yourself and combining that with your family. Maybe it's time to say, hey, I'm stopping right now and I'm just going to watch a movie with my kids and my partner now. I'm just going to take these 2 hours just for me and my family and do nothing else. And that's the key. And with leaders, that is the same principle you should apply with your people. If they tell you, listen, I'm sorry, I'm really feeling tired, I cannot focus, I cannot concentrate, tell them it's okay to take a break for an hour, to encourage them even to take a break. I know when I was managing my teams, and the last one in Amazon, I had one of my friends, she had some emergency on one of my team members. She had an emergency in her team, in her family, sorry, and she wanted to manage a team. And I said, listen, I know you're going to meet your target. I know you're going to make sure the project is completed, but take the time you need. Your family needs to come first. You need to come first. So I say, if you're not available in the morning, and start in the afternoon, I'm fine with it, because I know you're going to work longer in the evening. But give them that flexibility so that they don't feel this extra pressure, because they're all trying to do their best. And I think as a leader, that's the least you can do, is show understanding, show empathy. Make sure that you try to support them, because like in my case, I asked this lady, I said, what can I do to help you? Because I know it was a challenging experience for her. And she told me, well, if you could be flexible, that would be great. And I said, fine. I said, I know that you're going to do the work. So I said, I don't care, as long as I know you're when you're not there. And I said, if I really have something urgent, I will call you. But otherwise, just take the time you need and we'll talk in the afternoon. And it worked really well. So that is my advice as leaders. You need to take care. You need to lead by example. You need to take care first of yourself, but you also need to show understanding and support towards your people, because they will pay you back even more than what you can think of.
You know, those are great words that you've shared there. I'm even being mindful of the time. We have 4 minutes, and I hope, are you okay to stay a few more minutes? And folks,
Of course.
still okay to stay on? But there's this one point I would like to make, and it's not only a handful of people. There are lots of people who are ghosting employees. And what I mean by that is that they are the ones who have not been laid off, and they're burning the midnight oil from both ends. There are organizations that are in there. You know what? We've got you a job. So you got to be grateful. I don't care. But sometimes it's not the leader. They're not leaders, by the way. There could be managers, or there could be leaders who don't have a buy-in from senior management, because that is being pushed down. So this is a vicious time for so many people. And there's that guilt feeling that if I leave, there are so many other experts out here that could take my job, and I need to be grateful for what I have. Otherwise, I will not have this. So that is a little bit of a turmoil, what I call a tornado that people are in, and that just keeps spinning. And so, you know, Zayn, I consider her my daughter. She's a dancer, and she's going to be on our show in a few weeks. So, Robert, is what I'm going to be sharing over here, that it is really hard of what people are going through right now. Sorry, a frog in my throat. The thing is here, make sure that your chai cup is not empty, and that if you're running on empty, that's when we burn out. I know these are hard times, but as Virgin said, that, you know, we could we could take just those few minutes for ourselves, wake up 15 minutes earlier. That is brilliant advice. Or when the kids have gone to sleep, is that, that's when you can take some me time. And self-care is not selfish.
No.
I know there's so much negative scripting that goes on that people are living with right now, and situations that they cannot, get out of. And so taking that time, even a few moments of maybe, in Calgary now, the weather is getting much better, is like putting your hands in soil. If you can't go out and stand under the trees in a forest, what the Japanese do, which is Shinrin-yuku, is at least play with some soil, because we are earth. And you know what? When we play with earth and meditate and exercise and enjoy solitude, as my brother from another mother, is also from Mombasa, where I'm from. We were neighbors. He is the younger one, but he was a year older in the school system. I'm kidding. And I'm glad that he's joined as well. He brings so much, wisdom to these. And so, I thank you. Are there any questions from our viewers right now? Because I really, really am grateful of what you've shared so far. It's been such a great pleasure to have you on.
You're welcome. Yeah, if there are any other questions from people, that would be great. And great points. I've seen some coming around, indeed. Exercise, meditate, enjoying solitude. People are not used to spend some time with themselves, but that's also very, very important.
That is so, so true. And, we need to, I'm going to be tapping the care button. That's the new emoji that has come up. We'll see Akbar Darani has joined. I'm not sure who else has joined, but thank you all so much for being part of this. Riz Jadavji, thank you as well.
Thank you for having me.
It is certainly my pleasure, and great. Oh, how do you move your hips like that in salsa? Mine don't work that way. Well, shall we give them a little bit of a taste?
Oh my God, I'm not prepared for that. No, but I need to come back to your show another time and do the.
We will, and so, yay! Awesome movement. And the thing is that that's a great segue into Zain's when we're coming on, is that so many people, I'd like to be respectful that we are a diverse, everywhere. There could be individuals that have mobility issues and all of those. So Zain's going to be doing something for those that are not able to. So I am excited, and please watch out for that to be coming up, because all part of mental health is that, yes, we can do things, each and every one of us, to take care of our health. It's even the little things in that, yes, you thank you, Alnur. Disco Salsa was having a chat with Robert yesterday, and yes, I do love disco, and when I went out for that walk, I went a huge circle and I was limping, and the thing was that I put my music on, and when I came back around, I started to really get into the music, and I was dance walking, limping and dance walking, and was feeling so much better. So thank you, bless your heart. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It was such a great pleasure to have you all. It has been it's been great. So
likewise, Alnor, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bless your heart, and lots of love. Okay, love it. And I'd love to have you back on.
We'd be happy to. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the Chai with Alnur. This was excellent. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye-bye.